recording.
All right. Welcome to episode 13 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm River.
And I'm Wren.
And today we're going to talk about moon magic. But first, we are drinking the same drink that I attempted to make. Mm-hmm. And we're calling it Bewitching Tongue Twisters.
Yes. And a tongue twister it is.
It is. And if you drink enough, your tongue will really be twisted. Mm-hmm. So it's got brandy and triple sec and lemon juice in it, and it is quite potent and quite tasty.
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
So we're going to talk about the moon magic. But first, did you know that the moon is actually drifting away from the Earth every year?
I did.
You did?
I actually did.
Yeah, you were a science background.
I am an astronomy nerd.
Yeah. The moon is moving approximately 3.8 centimeters away from our planet every year. Mm-hmm. So it will continue to do so. So around 50 billion years from now, the moon will take 47 days to orbit the Earth instead of its current 27.3 days.
It's pretty cool. And imagine what type of life will be on the planet when that happens.
I know.
It would just be ordinary to them, though.
Yeah. Because it's going to happen really slow.
Yeah.
But I wonder what that's going to do to the tides and all that. Will it affect it much?
I think so.
47 days. I mean, that's almost double.
Yeah, I think so. Because the moon is a very strong force on the Earth, just like the sun is. Mm-hmm. But the sun can get away with it because it's so huge compared to Earth.
Yeah.
But when you have the moon is smaller, but it's within our range where it affects us. So, and it affects us in a major way because it controls our tides. It controls the water of the Earth. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Did you know it actually even moves the Earth?
Yeah, I did know that too.
You just know everything.
Everything with astronomy, mostly everything. I have so many fun facts I could spit at you right now. Maybe not specifically about the moon, but about like the planets and everything.
Don't spit on me.
That's not what I meant.
Okay, moon magic. What is moon magic? So it's basically the practice of magic in tune with the phases of the moon and with your own spiritual being. If you consider the effect that the moon has on bodies of water, it's no surprise that the moon can affect us too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The human body is made up of approximately 60% water. The Earth is made up of approximately 70% water. So you can see that the moon would have an effect on us individually in addition to our waters on the Earth. The moon affects the tides, especially on the full and new moons. So just think of how our bodies react too. It's just so weird for me to think about.
Yeah.
You know, they claim that there's no evidence of that full moon effect. I think it's called the lunar effect or something like that, where, you know, the full moon brings out the crazies, basically.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from my job, there is absolutely 100% something to it.
No, I can see it too because people will be acting all sorts of crazy. Like my husband and I will be driving, and they're just wackadoodles, and I'm always like, oh, is it a full moon tonight? And my husband just looks at me and he's like, what are you saying? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm serious. And then I'll look it up, and sometimes I'm right. Sometimes it's like they're acting probably high in energy and crazy because a full moon is coming up soon or that night. And he just looks at me like I'm just the weirdest thing.
Mine doesn't even look at me. He doesn't even acknowledge it.
It's just normal.
Yeah. You know, back in the 18th century in England, that was actually a legal defense. Was they could ask for a lighter sentence for their crime if it happened during the full moon, because they would say it was based on lunacy.
Really?
You know, the moon made me do it.
Which I could see like getting away with it if like you're acting crazy and you're like
a werewolf.
No, I was gonna say like speeding or got into a car accident or something on an accident, but not like murder or anything like that. I could see where like oh, you don't have to pay for this ticket that you got because you were high on energy from the moon. Like,
Isn't that driving under the influence?
I could see that. I mean, I like that.
I like it too. That's so funny. Okay, so the moon has phases, as everybody knows, and I'm just going to go through them and we'll talk about each phase a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've got the new moon. That's considered the first phase. Mm-hmm. So it's a time of cleansing. It's the beginning, basically new, everything new.
Yeah.
It's time for new friends, new loves, new beginnings.
Everything.
Yeah. New. I can't think of any other news, but any
like,
new.
New.
Yeah.
Just new.
Like new job, new.
Anything.
Anything.
With that, I have some spells to go with the new moon.
Okay.
And they're just names and things that you can create spells from.
Okay.
And then I also have one specifically from a book that we both use.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just some spells, some spell ideas that would go really well with the new moon.
Well, tell me.
Okay. So some are money luck. New, you bring in more money, hopefully.
I want new money. What if
New
you want
money.
What if you're in love with someone who's old money? I guess you can't do
But
that
it would
on
be
a
new
new
to
moon.
you.
Oh, good point.
True.
Yay, Wren. Okay.
Conquering change, finding the perfect home, healing, blessings of the house or your home or apartment, welcoming a new pet. You can ask for long life, help healing from grief, finding inspiration and planning a vacation, abundance, and grounding meditation.
So if it's a new moon, I can tell my husband, we need a new puppy.
Oh, I mean, you could, but I just don't think that would go over so well.
Considering we already have 2 and a cat, I don't think that would go over. Oh, a new cat.
Oh my gosh. I could see your husband going, okay, maybe a new cat, because he's a cat person. He's a cat person,
yeah.
But no new pets, probably.
Probably not, unless it's a spider. He's like, we need a tarantula.
I'm
I don't think so.
Y'all should get a tarantula.
I do not. No.
Never mind.
No.
River's scared of spiders.
I am very scared of spiders.
I'm scared of spiders, but maybe I could do a pet tarantula. Okay, let me tell you about one. I picked one to go more in depth about, and I chose the finding inspiration because I know I struggle with finding inspiration sometimes, and I know it's common in many people. We aren't alone. Okay. So a spell that might be nice to learn, like wow. So a spell might be nice to learn for that, like inspiration.
Okay.
So finding inspiration. So the moon is an inspiring energy in the new moon cycle. It is the symbol of new beginnings. So you can say quietly or loudly. I gotta get my voice on. To gaze upon your lovely face is said to bring desire, from which it's said of heart and head readily inspire. Please turn your gaze upon my life to quicken its desire, to find the words or thoughts or ways to create untired.
Oh, I like that.
And that's also from the book. That's directly from the book. Mm-hmm. But I really like that. But it doesn't have to be that verse. It's just supposed to be about intent and what you desire. And if that like little saying or spell helps you, and you don't want to create your own or whatever, then you can use that as long as you have that intent. Yeah. Then it's fine.
It doesn't even have to rhyme. I mean, we've talked about this before. Yeah. Every person is different. I do happen to like rhyming. Mm-hmm. It clicks it into place in my head when it rhymes. Yeah. So the next phase is the waxing crescent. And this is the phase where the moon is starting to grow. It increases intentions and intuitions. It's a time of growing for yourself. So use this phase for growth magic. For yourself, your relationships, for healing, anything that needs growth in your life.
Yeah.
And then you have the first quarter moon, which brings focus to maximize intentions. And then the waxing gibbous, which is increasing energy that nurtures hopes and dreams.
Okay. And off that, I have some spells just for the waxing moons. Like any waxing. So waxing gibbous, waxing crescent, any waxing phase, these are perfect for that. So a couple like categories are like hope. So forget me not is kind of like you don't want somebody to forget about you.
Okay.
You want your wishes to come true. Success, living joyfully, new adventure, peacefulness, the easing of pains, both mentally and physically. Fertility, you can, during these phases, they're great for fertility spells. Intuition, charming, luck, friendship, courage, creativity. So one of the spells I chose to focus on was adventure, because I feel like everybody needs a little bit of adventure in their life.
I agree.
So on the waxing crescent, open your heart and mind and set your intention on the moon and say, and again, you don't have to say this directly, but gentle moon navigating the heavenly seas, your itinerary must this wanderlust appease. With plan in hand and mind set free, sail on that I might follow thee.
Okay. Yeah, that one I think I would personally stumble over.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled a little.
I would be too focused on trying to get
to say the words.
poem right than I would be on the intent of the spell.
Yeah.
But I like it.
It's very beautiful. And this book and the author has a way of doing the rhymes, and I admire that. But maybe for this one, I would just do something simple of, I wish I could go on vacation.
Oh, me too. And then the full moon. This is the time of abundance and gratitude, also cleansing and letting go. It is a very powerful phase of the moon. It's magic about reaching your full potential. Love, abundance, fulfillment, that kind of thing. Yeah, some full moon spells I have are for like healing energy boosts, romantic love, good luck, drawing love or drawing someone special to you, clarity, giving thanks, helping others, fair weather, powerful, anything. Like you want to seek power in this full moon. Marriage, open-minded is more along the lines of anything you can make this full moon and this abundance and fulfillment about anything. So keep your mind open. Okay. You can also do a house protection with salt, finding something lost. And so I lose things very often. So I'm going to tell y'all about finding something lost. Okay. Mostly because I lose everything. So the moon on a full moon. Wow. The full moon is supercharged. Is that like an herb is an herb? An herb is an herb. The moon is a moon. The moon is a moon. It's supercharged and has the strongest force pulling and pushing the tides. So why not have it pull you closer to something you've lost? With your intent, say this, or like we said, something similar. Tides of nature heed your cry, and swiftly they obey. Cast your beaming rays that... Wow, this one's obviously not for me. Tongue twister, bewitching tongue twisters. Cast your beaming rays this way to help me with this plea. For lost again, this thing I need is set not in its place. Return to me, moon's gravity, what's lost in time and space. I love that one. That one's great. I just butchered it. I'm so sorry. I love that. You know, the other thing about full moons, of course, is werewolves, like I had said. Yes. And they're thought to change on the full moon. And so I was curious. I'm like, what is it about the full moon that makes a werewolf change? Yeah. Is it the light of the moon? Is it the tide power, you know, that's having the same effect on the werewolf? Yeah. And so I was doing some research, and it says that they think, well, this one place that I read thought that it had to be because of that lunacy, you know, where people act crazy on the full moon. And so They just, it kind of, oh, that person is acting like a raving lunatic, which from that you can see becoming a werewolf.
Interesting.
Another thought is that during the full moon, since there's even more light reaching the area when the full moon is full, that ambient energy you were talking about is much greater. And in fact, this is kind of proven true. There's several vineyards that are actually getting positive results from synchronizing their harvest with the cycle of the moon, claiming that letting the grapes grow during a period of high energy makes them sweeter.
Oh, see? We just got to drink moon wine.
I know. So also, even in the dark, you might consider that the increased ambient energy is triggering the transformation of a werewolf back to the werewolf thing. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was just...
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was curious because werewolves are always connected to the full moon.
Yeah.
Then you've got the waning gibbous. And that is reflection, learning, refined based on what was learned from before. Mm-hmm. It's a time to get rid of unwanted habits, reflection, to let go of bad energies in your life. If you're an addict, this may be a time to try to focus on getting rid of that negative energy. Not that it's that easy, obviously, but, this is a time to try to get rid of unwanted habits.
Okay. My turn?
Yes.
Excuse me. So, waning gibbous spells. Waning moon spells. Oh my gosh, I'm just...
Well, I was talking about the waning gibbous, so that's fine.
Yes, that's true, but I'm going to specifically talk about waning moon spells. Not specifically to waning gibbous, but to waning other...
Yeah, because it's that entire time from the time it's full until the time it's new that a lot of these spells can be cast with the proper motivation and intent.
Yeah. So some things that you can do is banish bad from your life, repelling the enemy, which could be a neighbor. I'm not specifically pinpointing to my neighbor or anything, but could be a neighbor. Patience and understanding, relationship troubles, forgiveness, insight solving, family blessings, cleaning up any bad energies, de-stress, which I know I need, wisdom, aging gracefully, which is kind of nice, but worried about the repercussions after.
Yeah.
Sweet dreams, attitude adjustment, weight loss, and clearing mind, and abundant gardens. You can also cast this on other things other than like your body or energies around you. You can cast it on your garden to help your garden grow.
I love that. Okay, so another one of the waning phases is the third quarter moon, which is when you can acknowledge and release. It's a time of forgiveness. And then the last phase before the new moon again is the waning crescent, which is the end of the cycle. You starting to think about renewal. It's thoughtful darkness, inward reflection, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the phases. I love going through the phases and learning which phase does what, so that you can really in tune what you want at that time of month. Because you can really feel the change of energies throughout the month too.
Yep. Almost threw my phone on the floor. Sorry, y'all.
I don't know if you can feel it, but I can definitely feel it when we go from a new moon to a third quarter to a full moon. I just feel the different shift in energies.
I do if I am paying attention. Sometime life has got me too wrapped up.
Involved.
To notice, and that's sad. So I think it's important for all of us to step back and to pay attention to these things.
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to do a lot too, is enjoy the moment more. Because I do this thing, and I don't know if it's normal, because my husband, I know. I talk to my husband about this a lot, and he says sometimes he does it, but not really. Where, I'll have, an outer body moment where I'm like, whoa. I am here. I am this being here with this life. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, but I'm here. And it makes me grateful for everything that I have. But
That's
I have
nice.
those types of body, like outer body experiences where I'm like, wow, this is actually beautiful. Like the moment that we are in itself is beautiful
That's
because
awesome.
we are an anomaly, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because we had the dinosaurs before and who knows before that, and all that, this whole world, this earth has been here for a while, and it's probably seen some other life forms come and gone, and we're just part of that story. So I feel grateful to be a part of that story, even though I am just a small part of it. I have that the external moment where I'm like, whoa.
And I think we're all connected too. I have those moments where I feel connected to everything, and it is an awesome feeling where I'm like you, it might be the same thing that you're talking about, where I
Yeah.
feel like I am a part of this universe.
Yeah,
And it is a very powerful feeling.
it's very eye-opening.
And I think we need to try to do that more often, because so many of us get caught up in our everyday work and
Yeah.
school or whatever it
Yeah.
is, and we forget that we're part of this miraculous world.
It's absolutely amazing, and I could go off on a tangent as to what humans have created and how they have made it where we wake up 5 to 8 or whatever like my husband wakes up at 5 o'clock every morning and works his ass off and doesn't get home until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
He works literal like more than 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And I'm a full-time student, so I'm working my ass off to graduate. But at the end of the day, I do not want a 9 to 5 job. I would know I would be miserable. And then as soon as you get that 9 to 5 job, it's like a blink. And you already have like 4 kids, you're miserable. And it's like, I'm not trying to at you or anything. But I really just don't want that for me. I want adventure. I want time for myself and my husband. And I feel like it happens in the blink of an eye. Time is not
does.
to your favor.
Yeah. I think that's part of the spirituality of witchcraft, is the acknowledgement that we're part of something more and that we need to take the time and recognize it.
Yeah. Humanity has really stepped away from what I feel like it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be driving cars or flying in the air. We're supposed to be a part of the earth. We're supposed to be the earth.
I don't know. I
take care of it.
I agree with that part. I feel like our science has sometimes gotten ahead of our ability to protect at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do think that human brains are amazing things, and these things that we have created, the ability to fly, I mean, that just is amazing.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I don't know if I discussed this type of theory on here before, but I know I've told you about it, or even my sister. I've told my sister about it, where the Egyptians built amazing, like, structures, but there's no trace of how they did it. And one of the theories is that everything that civilization used, and they could have been way more advanced than us, is that they used self-sustaining, biodegradable things to help them succeed as a civilization, but there's no trace because they took care of the earth.
Yeah.
And everything that they did went back into the earth and sustained the earth and fed the earth. So I think that's very cool.
I do
a
too.
cool theory. And if that is true, I'm not saying that it is, but if it is true, then us now in current civilization has really done it wrong, because we have plastic, we have styrofoam, we have things that will never ever degrade, and it's ruining the planet. And so I just feel like us as a current time civilization has kind of ruined that. Like, we're burning fossil fuels for car gas, like we're just ruining the planet. And I feel like
there is definitely not as much awareness of the earth as there needs to be. And I think it's a good thing that witchcraft is becoming, well, I hate to say more popular, because it's not something that, it's always been there.
Yes.
But it is becoming more
practiced.
Yes, there are more people reaching back out to the earth
Yeah.
than
I do like
before.
seeing that.
I do too.
I like seeing people connect with the earth, and I just feel like we as people are a part of the earth. Like, earth is our home. We aren't meant to be in these metal boxes and not be connected to earth at all. Like, I just feel like, but I'm also like a really down to earth person. I'm very like, I'm a hippie energy.
Yeah.
I could live in the freaking forest. Like, I could
I
live
could
outside.
not. I mean, I like to be outside. I like to be outside on my deck with a glass of wine, but I don't want to go, I like camping as long as there's a bathroom and, so I am not like you that way.
Yeah, and I feel like not everybody's like that, but I feel like if we were also not in a civilization that we have now where it's very industrial, I feel like people would be more like that. And I don't know how I'm like that because I grew up smack down in the middle of suburbs and right outside of a huge city. So you would think that I'd be like, oh yeah, city life, but I'm really not.
It's interesting.
Okay, we got a little bit off track.
We sure did.
I'm going to talk about moon water.
Okay.
So moon water is one of my favorite things to come out of the full moon. I usually do full moon water. You can do moon water on any other night. It just gives you different energies and different things out of it. So you could set out a cup or a glass of water on the third quarter moon, and you would get more things for, like, you could use it for forgiveness. Like, that one's, the third quarter moon is more used for forgiveness and release. So on the full moon, for me, when the moon is at its highest, at its peak and strongest energies, take some water. I do mine usually in closed jars, but it doesn't matter. As long as you have a container that you like and you can close it. It depends on what you're using it for.
I like to close mine because other things and bugs and stuff
They
can get
fall
into
in it,
it.
yeah. But it also depends what you're using it for.
That's true.
So you
Like,
want it in a...
if it's for your garden,
then
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
you're fine. So as long as the container can reach the moon's beams. So you can place your container somewhere where it reaches the moon, such as like a windowsill, balcony. That's where I put mine. Or a porch. Anywhere it can catch the moon.
Yeah, I put mine on my back deck.
Yeah. Yeah, mine goes on my little
Your
balcony.
little porch. Your little
porch
garden
thing.
porch, yeah.
In your container, you can fill it with spring water, distilled water, tap water. Just make sure if you're going to use it for anything that you're going to consume, to use the proper filtered water or drinkable water for it.
Definitely.
But, like, let's say you're charging crystals in it, you don't really necessarily have to have drinking water.
Right.
It could be, like, which would be really cool, like a stream water for charging your crystals.
Rainwater I like to use.
Rainwater.
Yeah. So, but I don't drink the rain. You probably could, but I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
But
So you can set intentions and focus on what you want out of it, like magical properties of the moon. Now, you don't always have to do this, but it's nice sometimes to have an intention for what you want to set forth for your moon water. You don't always have to.
Sometimes I just make moon water because I want to have moon tea for, and that's where I set my intention. I don't necessarily have my intention at the time of making my moon water. I set my intention with the tea or the potion that I'm making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after you set it out overnight, the next day the water is ready and your moon charged. Oh my gosh. Your water moon is charged.
There you go.
Your moon water moon. Oh my gosh. I said your water moon is charged.
I understood what you were talking about.
I know, but I sound like I'm crazy.
We're about going equal to equal on these tongue twister things. So, wow.
Okay. The next day, the water is ready and moon charged. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
I always try to get up early so I can get mine out of the sun before it affects my water too much.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And now you can take the moon water and use it for what you desire, such as moon tea, a moon bath, charge your crystals in it, or just sip it. But in my case, I chug it. The moon water is to help you feel the energies of the moon.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I've got some moon magic stuff too. So first I want to say keep a moon journal or a moon grimoire or a moon book of shadows, whatever you want to call it, but one that is centered for the moon.
Yeah.
And you can keep track of your moon practices that way. And Dragon Craft Creations, which is the company that does our merch, they have some moon journals that I think are pretty cool.
Okay.
So, but use your journal. You want to write about how the phases make you feel. You want to write about how the phases seem to affect your fellow humans. Keep track of any unusual dreams that you have and what, moon phase you're in when you have those dreams, and log that because it might mean something.
Yeah.
Write the witchuals. Oh, that's hilarious. Witchy rituals, the witchuals. Write those rituals that you perform during the different moon phases in this journal, and it's going to be a great little book to go back and see what you did when and what worked and what manifested and what didn't manifest. And, especially if you're writing your feelings, could your feelings have affected how that spell was cast?
Yeah.
And were you able to cleanse yourself and really get into the next cycle of the moon, that kind of thing. So yeah, and it could just be a normal notebook that you go and you buy at Walmart.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be.
Yeah.
So I've got a few moon rituals to talk about that you can try to do. One, at the new moon, I wanted to just start very simply. There's so much more in depth, and some people might listen to this and go, that's ridiculous. That is not nearly as intense as it needs to be. I'm just trying to give you all some basic moon magic ideas, for you to do with as you will.
Yeah.
So try a cleansing bath at the new moon, because this is the time of new beginnings. You're wanting to cleanse. You want to get started on this next phase. And I like to use Himalayan bath salt. I use Himalayan salt a lot. I cook with it.
Yeah.
I use it in spells. I use it for protection. I use it in my little sachets for protection. So Himalayan bath salts is a great way to do a cleansing bath.
Yeah.
You're going to want to... Where am I? Okay. Light a candle. Okay, so it's not just a tongue twister, it's an eye twister too. I'm trying to read my notes. So you light a candle. I like to use white. It depends on what your intention is, and we're going to do episodes on candle magic as well, and what colors mean what.
Yes.
But white, number one, is good for anything. It is an overall decent candle to use for any kind of spell, but it also is good for purification, removing weakness or lack of energy. So it's perfect to use for this cleansing bath where you're trying to meet your new phase that you're going to move on with.
Yeah.
You can place crystals around your tub. And for the new moon cleansing, I like to use clear quartz for the same reason that I like to use the white candle. It can be used generally for any other crystal it can be substituted for, but it is a purifying crystal and helps you focus. I also like amethyst a lot because it is purifying and it cleanses out negative thoughts and is said to bring on spiritual wisdom.
Yeah.
And then you light a smudge stick or incense made from white sage. White sage is also known to cleanse and heal and remove negativity. So we're doing the full-on cleansing as all the way around.
Yep.
Place the smudge stick in an abalone. I don't know how to say that word. It's a seashell.
Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't ask me about pronunciation.
How to say things. Yeah.
Nope.
We're both readers, so yeah. And this brings the water element into the ritual as well. And since you're laying in water, that connects all of these things together.
Yeah.
And then you wave the smoke over your body from your feet to your head and back from your head to your feet. And you focus on your intent of cleansing, and you relax and you enjoy your bath.
It sounds so amazing. I could use one of those right now.
And then get out of the bath and go write in your journal, and you'll be able to look back on that and see how it worked. Did it work? Did it help you relax? What dreams did you have that night? Did you go on and meet your new beginnings that you were hoping to? As you go, of course, you can change up the candles, the crystals, the smudge sticks to suit whatever your particular need is at that time. And for whatever moon phase, you don't have to just do a bath ritual at the new moon. You can do a bath ritual for any of the phases of the moon, and then that would change the color of the candle and the herbs that you might want to put into your bath, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but this was just a very basic new moon bath ritual, a cleansing ritual.
Yeah, I like that.
And then on the full moon, that's a great time to just cast a simple candle spell for protection. And you just start with something simple. And as you learn more, and many of you listening may be way beyond this, but this is just a good basic. If you're out of time, don't have much time to do anything fancy schmancy, this is a good way to remind yourself, ground yourself back into nature and the world around you. So you choose a candle for your intention. White is a good one for protection. You choose crystals for your intention, and you place those around the candle. Obsidian is a good one for protection, I have found anyway.
Yeah.
You write your spell. There's another word for this, and I can't remember what it is, but I always just call it writing my spell. I think I'll have to look it up. There is a word for it.
Okay.
You spell your intention. I don't remember. Anyway, I write my spell on a piece of paper, and I like to use fancy paper. And
fancy paper.
I do. And then you burn the paper as you focus on your intent and the words that are on the paper, and you let the smoke rise and your spell release into the universe. And then be sure to log this in your ritual book as well.
Yeah.
It's just an oversimplified, easy spell to cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I love to do on the full moon, while you're talking about the full moon, is moon dancing.
Oh, yeah.
So on the full moon, while it's emanating its energy, you can host a dance party for one or however many. Feel the energies of the moon, cleanse your soul, and enjoy the moment and fill your heart with happiness. Once you have enjoyed the moon, give thanks to it for sharing its energies and allowing you to feel free under its sky.
I love that.
That's very sweet yet simple. It's a very good definition of moon dancing. You can dance in the moon naked.
See,
you can dance in the moon while it's raining. Well, I mean, it's cloudy, but the moon is still there.
That's right.
The clouds don't stop you from feeling the
energy.
energies. Yeah. So dance in the rain. Dance in... When it rains on a full moon, is that moon water?
Good question.
Is rain always moon water since the moon is always around us?
I don't know.
I think that would be cool.
Those are very good questions.
I like
Maybe
that.
our listeners will be able to give us some information.
Is rain always moon water? Answer.
And what can you do with rainwater? We'll have to do some research on spells with rainwater.
Yeah.
I use rainwater for my garden. That's but I've never really... I mean, I've used it with intent, but I've never made a formal spell, which I might be interested in doing, actually.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's an old myth from Siberia? You know, when you look up at the moon and you see the marks on it? And this myth from Siberia tells why the moon is scarred that way.
Okay.
There's supposed to be fang marks left by Alkla, which is a monster with huge, impenetrably black wings. Alkla is a personification of the darkness of the sky. It feeds on the moon every month, slowly nibbling at it until it disappears.
Oh.
But the moon doesn't agree with the monster, who vomits it back out into the sky bit by bit, eventually recreating the full moon.
That is very cool.
Isn't that an interesting myth?
I love that. See, even though I do have all the knowledge, science-wise, on the moon, like, I know why it is the way it is, I know why it doesn't rotate, all because it's tidally locked to us. If you guys don't know what that means, we always see the same face of the moon. It never rotates around us. So that is a very cool theory. And I love theories. I could talk about theories all the time.
I do too.
That's a fun one. I've never heard that one before.
And that moon ritual, the moon magic book that we keep talking about by
Yes.
Aurora Kane, she talks about affirmations, which I think is a wonderful thing to do at each phase of the moon as well. And she has actual affirmations listed in her book, and I don't want to read them out. I think you need to go and buy her book.
Well, I've been reading out her spells. Only a few of them.
Yeah, just a few. So go buy her book.
It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
Like, I bought it first, and then River goes, I need that, and went and bought it.
Did.
So,
I did.
yes.
And doing these affirmations are a good way to start. If you don't know where to begin with moon magic, doing these affirmations are a great way to start tuning yourself into the moon. And then, of course, note these in your little moon journal as well.
Yeah.
I have one more myth.
Okay.
So in Africa, several indigenous peoples on that continent call their moon god Mawu. And he is a companion of the sun goddess Liza. And when they finally meet and make love, we have an eclipse.
Oh, that's cool.
And I love that one.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
I do too. So that's all I've got. There is so much more about moon magic.
It's so much more. And moon magic is one of the magics that I delve into myself. Like, I am big on moon magic. It's where I feel like I draw most of my energies from. And maybe that's why I feel the moon more than you throughout the month. And I feel like I know what phase it is in, even though
I really have to concentrate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be like, oh, what phase of the moon is it? Whereas
Yeah, it was funny because on the last full moon, I looked at my husband and I went, I think it's a full moon tonight. And he was like, what the heck are you talking about? Because we were just laying in bed and it was the morning. We had just woken up and I hadn't done any research on any of the moon. Like, I knew that it wasn't going to be a full moon for a while earlier. And I woke up and I was like, I think it's a full moon tonight. And my husband just looks at me. He's like, what are you talking about? We just woke up. And I go, I'm going to go get my jar ready. And so I set it out that evening and I have my moon water now.
Nice. Yeah, I think I need to go and get one of those moon journals and actively start paying attention to the moon.
Oh, before we go, I have something fun that has happened to me recently. Twice. It hasn't happened 3 times, so maybe. But I was at my parents' house and I was hanging out with my sister and I wanted Chinese food. Okay. So my husband's at work. I go over to my parents' house and I do my schoolwork because I'm taking a class this summer. And so I hang out with my sister and we were out and I turned to her and I go, let's see if mom wants Chinese food. And she's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I didn't have my phone on me because I accidentally left it in the car. So I was like, let's go back to the car, grab the phone so I can text mom. Immediately when I pick up my phone, my dad's calling me. And I'm like, I look at my sister like, Dad's calling me. She's like, oh, what does he want? And there weren't any missed calls or anything. So it wasn't like he had been trying to reach me. It was as soon as I touched my phone, he called me. I answer, I go, hey, like, what's up? And he's like, we're ordering Chinese food. What do you want? I didn't even have to ask my mom to try to convince my dad or anything. So that was just once, like, I was like, oh, that's a coincidence. And it still kind of is a coincidence because 3 makes a not coincidence.
Okay.
And then so the second time I was out, I got my hair cut and I was on the way home and I had already spent the money on my haircut. And so I was like, I don't need to spend money on anything else. Like, going to the store, I really wanted some caramel and apples. And so I was like, I don't need it. So I don't go to the store. But on my way home, I was like, what if my dad somehow was in his car leaving our neighborhood the exact same time I turn into our neighborhood so I can catch him to get me some caramel and apples. And lo and behold, what happened 10 minutes later when I pulled up to my neighborhood, my dad was leaving the neighborhood subdivision, and so I was able to catch him before he went to the grocery store.
Maybe your dad's a witch.
I don't think so. He is very eye-rolly about the stuff.
Oh, I see. That's neat.
But it was very funny because that happened almost 2 days in a row where that happened, where I was like, oh, I want Chinese food. Let me try to convince my mom. But I didn't even have to go through all that rabbit hole of trying to convince. My dad just called me. He was like, we're getting Chinese food. And I was like, you never want Chinese food. What's up?
That is neat. You had your intention was set and it manifested immediately.
It manifested all by itself. And man, I wish it would do that with like luck with me or something. No, it just manifests food for me.
Well, I'm okay with food.
I mean, I'm good with food, but no long term, like, you're going to be happy. No, I get food.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
You'll have to let us know if you get number 3.
Maybe. I don't know. And now that I'm looking for it, I feel like it won't happen.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all that I have on Moon Magic.
Yep, me too for now.
So, you guys can check us out on social media at C3 Witchy Podcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And you can also find us at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find links to all of our social medias, as well as our links to our merch. And you can listen to episodes.
Yes.
And our Patreon is there.
Yes, please come support us.
Yes.
It does take time and effort to do this, and our husbands are patient up to a degree, but we could use some help because we're spending our own money to do this just because we love it. But
It's absolutely amazing.
It is. It's fun, but any help you could give us would be wonderful.
Yes. So, like I said last time, y'all won't see us next week, but y'all will hear us next week. So, y'all will hear us next week.
Have a wonderful cocktail, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.